Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of NC-17. My name is Josh, and today with us we have Gwendolyn Brown. She is a very well-rounded actress who's been in looks like a lot of horror movies.
Yeah,
How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good, pretty good. Doing the hustle and bustle, I guess, right?
Mhm. Right.
uh, so before we get into your films and stuff like that, kind of take us a little bit back in when you were a child and growing up. Was movies what you wanted to do, or was it another passion and kind of just happened along movies?
So I would definitely say acting is always something that I've wanted to do, but it wasn't something that I thought I could do, if that makes sense. So I think everyone kind of gets told this in some way, either from parents, friends, or other people in their life, that to be realistic about what you want, especially career-wise. And I guess I thought acting is not realistic because it's not a stable 9 to 5 job. Just things like that. So I did not chase it for a long time. I just thought, oh, I can't do that. That's not something I can do. Um, but other than that, yes, I have always wanted to act. It just took me a long time to actually get there.
So growing up, was horror always your genre, or are you just a fan of film altogether?
I love horror movies, but I will say that I do like all genres. But I love horror movies. I think it's a dream that I get to be in a lot of horror movies right now. Um, when I was younger, I swear, I think we had a drawer full of like 200 movies. All of them were just horror movies. So I grew up on them.
No, yeah. So
Mhm.
what was your first memory, like your first horror movie you fully remember?
Ah, I would say The Grudge or The Ring. Those ones scared the living hell out of me, especially The Grudge. And my mom would play tricks on me sometimes. There was this one time we were out visiting my grandma and we were sharing a bedroom and it's pitch black out there because she lives out in the middle of nowhere, turns off all electricity. So it is deafening quiet and super pitch black. You can't see anything with your eyes wide open. And my mom left to go to the bathroom and I heard her come back and like shut the door, but I didn't hear any other movement after that. And I was like, Mom? And she goes, ah. And I started freaking out. I started screaming. I was like 14 years old when that happened. And then she started busting out laughing. And she was like, I'm so sorry. I just didn't know what to say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it's any consolation, I scare people doing that too. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, so kind of take us into the first time you were on a set and like, was you anxious, nervous, or a little bit of everything put together?
So the first time that I was on a set, do you mean where I actually had a role? Because I have had background experience before.
Yeah, yeah, when you had a role. Yeah, sorry.
Roll. Okay. No, you're good. Um, so my first experience being on set would actually be when I worked for Neil Breen. He was my first movie, and I was super anxious because it was my first time ever being on a movie, and like people were gonna get to see me, and I was getting paid for it. I was like, oh my gosh. Um, but I went there and I met with the other cast members, and they were very lax and chill. And I was just asking them questions, and they helped make me feel a little bit better. And then that's when I started getting more excited about the project because instead of me being anxious, I was like, cool, I'm here with like-minded people. We're all in this together. Let's all just do our best and see how it goes. And yeah.
Uh, so is there any one project you've been involved with that kind of stands out as like, not your favorite, but just like stands out as like one of the most important parts of your career so far?
Important parts of my career. That's a good one. I don't know if I have anyone that is any significant importance. I liked all of them. Uh, and it's hard to say that there's a favorite, but I do have a favorite scene that I was in. This one that was actually pretty recent. It was for a short film. It was a horror short film called Kappa. and I had to do this underwater scene, and it came out so, so cool to see myself underwater screaming like that. That's awesome. And I guess you could say that has some importance because it showcases something that I can do that I haven't gotten to show before. Like, I don't have any other movies where I have an underwater scene.
Uh, so you were in a short called Halloween Falls. Uh,
Mm.
you played Jennifer. What was that like?
That one was fun. I drove out to LA for that, and met everyone there on set. That one, I really tried. Like, I didn't know anyone on set. I mean, it goes like that most of the time where you're first meeting people and then just get right into it. But I didn't get to, I don't know if I just it didn't process in my head that it was going to be Michael Myers, but I thought that was really cool when I found it was like, oh, Halloween Falls. Okay, I get it. But like, when I was just looking over it and auditioning for it, I thought it was just like a Halloween, like just the the holiday Halloween, something to do with that, but I didn't know it was actual Michael Myers fan fiction. Um, but that one was really interesting. I really loved all the shots, and then getting to know the director, he had said that he was a wedding videographer or photographer beforehand. And then knowing that information and watching the fan film come out and seeing how that played a part, I was like, wow, you made this really beautiful. Uh, like this Halloween film, you made it really beautifully. I thought that was cool because we did a lot of improvising when it came to like my death scene. Because we were trying to figure out a way for Michael Myers to like push me up the wall. And so in that scene, I'm just stepping on a stool, like just raising myself up. And it's funny because like no one behind the scenes would know that, but yeah. Hmm.
Uh, so now you're synonymous with probably, if not the most famous franchise, one of the most famous franchises.
Hmm.
Uh, so going forward after you filmed that one, was there like now an expectation because you are titled, albeit through a fan film, you are
Hmm.
now tied to, Michael Myers. Was there an anticipation that people expected from you, or was it just, come and do what you need to do, and we're gonna make it no matter what?
I think it was the second part. Come and do what you need to do, and we're gonna make it. I don't feel like I've really met too many people off of the Halloween Falls one. I would like to, because that would be awesome to get recognition from. Um, but not necessarily. I think when I show people that, they're like, "Oh my God, that's so cool," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is. It's like also one of my favorites." Um, but no, I think the only expectation that they have of me really is to do my part on set, whatever vision they have, help it come to life.
All right.
So, hmm.
Uh, so my favorite genre is
Hmm.
zombies, and it looks like you have some experience in zombies. Uh,
Hmm.
Flesh Attack and Zombie Rage, two
Yeah.
different films. What was it like getting in costume to play a zombie and makeup and stuff?
Really fun. So I have three brothers, and we used to play Black Ops Zombies growing up, and that's one of our favorite video games. So when I got to play a zombie, I'm like, this is the type of stuff that I used to do with my brothers. Like we would mess around, play outside, and we would pretend to be zombies all the time. So I just brought that to life, and I was like, this is awesome. I was like, I get to do what I used to do with my brothers and like freak them out. So, and I also took some inspiration from that movie Zombieland, from the first zombie where she's like attacking. Oh, it's not Michael Cera. Oh God, I don't know his name. That one actor. I can't think of it.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yes, him, Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah.
Hey,
Hmm.
it's okay. Trust me, I get people mixed up all the time. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But so being pretty much a scream queen, because that's what you are. You're in horror movies, so that makes you a scream
Hmm.
queen.
Hmm.
That title actually holds a lot of significance. I mean, you got Jamie Lee Curtis, you got
Yeah.
the Blair and all of them. But to me, on the independent scene, the scream queen is more diverse because it's more along the lines of, we don't have to live up to this expectation, but we're gonna make the best of what we got.
Right.
And in your opinion, would you say that the independent scream queen is completely different than the mainstream scream queen?
Uh, yes and no. I think there's always going to be a different vision from project to project, so that will always play a factor. Um, but I will say like there is a huge difference between independent films and mainstream films when it comes to being a scream queen because if I take uh mm, I'm not sure how to say this, but I feel like a lot of mainstream films feel a little bit more copy paste. Like you can almost always predict what's going to happen. And not to say that you can't do that for independent films, you sure can with that as well. But I just don't feel like there's a whole lot of creativity being played out there anymore. And I find a lot more creativity, like things that you wouldn't even think of, because people aren't placing heavy expectations on it. They're like, you know what, I have an idea, let's just make it happen and let's just do it. And that I feel like that allows for a lot more creativity to come in the film and the plot and everything about the character and story.
All right. Uh, you were also again you played Bloody Mary in the Harris.
Hmm.
Uh, so
Yeah.
you getting to pretty much play the villain in quite a few of your movies.
Hmm.
What's that like as opposed to being like a victim or the hero?
It's really fun because I get to get all dressed up and bloodied up, and I love that. I love being all in makeup and costume and like becoming this creep essentially. Especially because it just brings me back to my days when I was playing with my little brothers because we would do creepy stuff like that all the time. Like, do you know this? It's an old PC game called Clock Tower.
Yep.
It's super old. We used to play that all the time, and we made it into like a game of tag with all of us and our cousins, where we would turn off all the lights in the house. I don't remember exactly what the rules were that we made up, but essentially one person had to be like the scary person, and you have to go and find the scary person, and we could be doing anything creepy. So me with my long hair, I would just put it over my head and like stand in the corner like a creep, and then they would get so freaked out every single time they saw me. And that was fun. Like I liked scaring people. It was a lot of fun. So doing that on movies, that's what it reminded me of, and so I always have fun doing that.
All right. Uh, and you also have another one called My Little Nightmare. You play Lori. Can
Yep.
you kind of give a synopsis of that film and just what how your character plays into it?
So My Little Nightmare, if it's going from the perspective of Lori, Lori is kind of a loner. She tends to feel abandoned, but also just wants to be the best that she can be for her adopted brother. Well, she's the adopted one, but she wants to be the best sister she can to her brother because she wants to find a place to fit in. So if you watch that movie, you'll see that she's constantly the third wheel and she's always just trying to have like a good time. Um, essentially, yeah. Um, but that movie is about a friend group that committed a crime together and all try to keep it under wraps. And then years later, things start falling apart and they need to go figure out why. And they find out that it ties later to that crime. Um, but yeah, Lori, she's just, um, yeah, pretty much. She's just a loner. That's all I had to do is just be like, oh, well, I was an abandoned kid. Just to get into that character. But there's a scene in there where she's talking to her adopted brother and she's like, well, I really wish I had that. And in that actual scene, when Rudy, the actor, like played his part and was like, it's gonna be okay, you'll always have me. It almost made me actually cry. I was like, I had to hold these tears back a little bit. I probably could have let them come out, but it was just natural to hold them back, at least for that character.
Uh, uh, so you have some other projects getting ready to come out. You got Voice Box and the Gray Ones. What I think
Mm.
Voice Box you play Donut Shop Patron. So is
Yeah.
that like a background character?
Yeah, that's a background one.
Yeah. And then
Hmm.
in the Gray Ones you play Emma. Can you kind of
Yeah.
give a synopsis on that and that character?
The gray ones, I cannot wait for that one to come out. I've been dying. I keep looking it up every single time just to see if a trailer is out or something. But the gray ones is about three friends. They're all in college, and Emma is the best friend to Shelly and Jake. Shelly had an extraterrestrial experience when she was younger that traumatized her for life that her best friends don't know about. And Emma, she's this huge nerd geek that loves to geek out over meteors and astrophysics, all of that. Um, so they're out to eat, and a meteor comes crashing down, and Emma's like, let's go get it. And so she picks it up, brings it home. Um, and then weird things start happening, and that's when Shelley's past kind of unfolds, and then we find out things about her, and we realize just how dangerous the situation actually was. Um, and we get to kind of see aliens in that one. But it plays more onto the fear of the unknown, and I love it when movies do that because I think whatever you don't know will always be more scary than anything that you actually see.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So with the films you've got out and the ones you got getting ready to come out, are you anticipating like a certain role eventually or a certain film, like a certain genre that you would like to work outside of horror?
Outside of horror, honestly, I would want to do something like rom-com or drama. I think something that I've really been craving is like a very emotionally combustive scene. So something where it just all explodes, like a rage almost. Because one of my dramatic monologues that I performed in order to get me a talent manager, I performed the crap out of that. And I love being able to like bring all these feelings out and like really just say it out. And I don't feel like I've gotten to play a lot of parts where I really get to do that, or there's not a lot of build up to a point where that happens. It's just more focused on like the horror things or anything else.
Oh yeah. It says you also have some work, some experience in the art department.
Uh-huh, yes. There was this other short film, I don't remember what it was called. But it was also a really interesting concept. It was like this whole dystopian world where people like glued almost like they got surgical or surgery done to like have their faces like permanently looking down at some device that they have on them strapped to them. So they literally could not look up from the screen. But like somebody was trying to derail all of that and trying to show someone just how dangerous it was. So anyways, in the art department, what I did was I drew this like scientific chalkboard pretty much. That was what I did.
Uh, so with the films you got under your belt so far, and just the experience you have, what advice would you give somebody, especially a younger person trying to get into the industry right now?
Um, don't fall for the traditional route. Everyone thinks that you have to go to college and that you must take classes. And don't get me wrong, those are always going to be good for you. But I didn't go to college for acting. I didn't take theater in high school either. Because mind you, like I did like acting and I knew that was something that I wanted so badly, but I shoved it down because I never thought I could get that. And that lasted until I was 21, where I hit kind of a rock bottom. And I decided, you know what? Like, if I can't even have the life that I want by doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing, let me try the things I actually want to. And so I just went to casting calls, put myself out there, put in the work, put in the effort. Like, I did practicing on my own. I did everything that I wanted to, despite what anyone said. And it sucks, especially when the people closest to you don't support you. And you just have to, if you want it that bad, you just have to block them out. And that's what I did.
All right. Well,
Mhm.
you know, being a younger actress in the entertainment world right now, I mean, it's like the world is your oyster because you got all these different projects you can actually just okay, you can kind of pick, do I want to do this or do I want to do that? So are there ever moments where it's like, you want to do one thing, but then all of a sudden something else comes up and it's kind of like they kind of start conflicting with each other, or has that not happened yet?
That hasn't really happened too much yet. Yeah, thankfully I haven't really had to deal with that. And with a lot of independent films, like everyone has a different schedule. So everyone's always working around schedules. That's like the hardest part with independent filmmaking. Probably not even just independent films, but yeah, I haven't had to deal with that. So hopefully it's just one of those things where I can work out a schedule shift rather than completely dropping a project. But yeah, wouldn't know.
Uh, and again, because you are a younger actress in the industry, is does image play a role in how you go to get a, like you always want to present yourself in a manner of, hey, I'm here to be professional, and
Right.
I want this job. Has anyone ever told you, well, you don't fit the part, or you don't look the part?
Yeah. There was this one voiceover role that I wanted, and I just don't think my voice was old enough, or it didn't sound old enough, and I couldn't make it sound old enough. Um, Other than that, like I typically look like someone's girl next door, or like the best friend, um, or the love interest is typically what I've gotten if it's not like horror films. Um, Yeah, I haven't gotten that too much because typically people will more so reach out to me. But other than that, it's just little things. Like I just don't quite give them the look that they're going for, and someone else does it a little bit better.
All right. So again, zombies being my favorite genre. When you were playing a zombie, was there moments to where, kind of like you said earlier, you were going back to your childhood, playing the game with your brothers and stuff like that? Was there ever a moment to where you were like, you almost forgot you were actually filming, or was it just straight professional the entire time?
I would say straight professional the entire time. There definitely wasn't a moment where I'm like, I'm full zombie. But I did like to freak people out on set. Especially so when I played as like Bloody Mary, I know that's not zombie. I did not mean to scare the director as much as I did, but I was trying to get into character. I was like, I'm gonna go do what Bloody Mary does, and I'm gonna go stand in the dark in the bathroom like a creep. So I went and did that, and I was literally just standing there all bloodied up. And Joe, he's like backing in. He's the director. He was backing in with the camera into the bathroom. I didn't realize he was gonna come in there to film a shot, and he didn't expect me to be standing right there. And so he turns to the side and he's like, "Oh my God!" He like, and I have like I swear when I tiptoe, I don't even mean to. I just like don't make a lot of noise when I walk. And so I'll just like pop up right next to somebody, especially dressed like that. And they're just like, what the hell? Uh, so that's funny. When I was on set for Flesh Attack, I don't think I did that too much, but I think with the other zombie actors, we did mess around and we were like, ooh, can you do this zombie a little better? Or like, I don't know,
All
like
right,
giving tips and things here and there.
all right. So, what kind of preparation do you do getting into each character? Because I know every character is different. Even the zombies you play are different zombies. So,
Yeah.
like, you're kind of like your prep just to get into character. Walk us through that a little bit.
So it depends on the background of the character. I try to if I don't get a background given to me, I'll try to create one for the character. And I think that's kind of what I did for Lori based off of context clues. Like, okay, she's an adopted person, and in most of these scenes, she's the third wheel. So loner is what I got for her. Um, but I would say I try to give my character some type of secret that they keep to themselves, like something about this. And then also, I got this from an acting class that I took, to pick something like some material or physical thing on the set and just make some type of connection to that thing, like give it a story. So like I have a globe on my desk. I could say, oh, well, this is the globe that my father gave me when I was 10 before he passed away. So it like has some special meaning to me. So I try to do things like that just to kind of form a character and then just let that naturally help me get into character. Because I think it is just about being there in the moment and feeling what you're supposed to be feeling instead of thinking too much about it.
Uh,
Mm.
so where would you like to see yourself 10 years from now?
10 years from now, hopefully at least in one Netflix movie. That would be really fun. I would love to do that. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep on pushing and hope that I get there someday.
All right. Well, I truly believe that you're going to get there, and probably a lot quicker than you think, because you got a good head on your shoulders, and you know the art that you love, and that's all that matters, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. But so we're kind of nearing the end of the show here, but with every single day that comes through, do you get a lot of different, like auditions you can look at, or is it just you pick what you really want to be in?
I would say I pick what I really want to be in. I still go through like backstage, casting networks. I think all casting is one of them. I still very much go through there. The nice thing though about this reputation that I've created for myself is now I have people reaching out to me, and that's really cool. Like for the Kappa short film, they reached out to me over Instagram, and same thing with a couple of other ones that I've did. Um, so that's nice. I'm like, oh, cool. Like now people are recognizing me and I'm getting asked to do things. And I hope that kind of keeps going on a roll. But I think word of mouth will help a lot more with that. But other than that, it's still just backstage. So still working on it.
All right. Uh, so two more questions. One, what would you go back and tell 10-year-old you that you know now that you didn't know then?
That nothing is unrealistic unless you tell yourself it is.
All right.
Mhm.
And here's an important one.
Mhm.
In Hollywood and independent film, just in life in general, everyone gets their naysayers and their positive people and stuff like that. The floor is yours to say whatever you want to say to in any way, shape, or form about anything, whether it be people who told you ain't gonna make it or people who backed you the entire time.
So I appreciate both. I think I need both, right? And I don't want people to assume that anytime that I had someone who didn't believe in me, that I let it be like, okay, great, that's extra fuel. I'm gonna go do this out of spite now. For me, it really wasn't that. It was just, okay, like you don't think this is achievable, but I don't think that is my fault. I think that is their current perspective of how they think they could go out to the world because they don't believe that that's something that could happen because they've never seen it. For example, like my mom. And I don't want to like dog on her. I just think that she held that mindset of that that's not something realistic to chase after. And she kind of scoffed at me when I was like, "Hey, like I want to do acting." And she's like, "All right, if that's what you want to do," like in a little of a condescending tone. And it's hard to not take that personal, especially from your mom. But I was like, "Okay, like noted. Now I know where you stand. I'm not going to come to you for support. I'll go to other people." But uh, but as time went on and I kept doing what I said I was going to do, and I think over the years she saw like, okay, this is actually working out for her a little bit, and now she's like, oh, cool. Like, what do you have going on now? And like now she's starting to believe it. But I think when people don't believe that you can do it, it's because they currently don't believe that they could do it if they tried. They don't believe that it's possible, and they think, oh, no one else can get there. At least no one that they know.
Uh,
Like it's unreachable thing to get to. But for the people who are positive, thank God for you guys. Um, I feel like when there was moments of weakness, that is it's very helpful having someone tell you or get you right back on that track, being like, it is like you're always gonna get a no. You're always gonna have people telling you that you can't make it. It's okay, it's part of the process. Just get back on your feet.
uh,
Mhm.
uh, I'm gonna let you have the floor again, so you can plug your socials if you want people getting a hold of you or not. That is entirely up to you. Where they can
Right.
watch your movies and just kind of keep in touch about what you got going on in the future.
All right. I do have, aside from the gray ones, I have a other short film that's coming up. It's a rom-com this time, so it's like the first thing that is not me dying or screaming. Instead, I get to kick someone in the balls. So if you want to see that, it's this short film called Love at First Fight. It is by Justin Cantorna. On Instagram, you can see more about it there. I have some behind the scenes on my stories, but my Instagram is Gwendolyn dot underscore dot brown. And so is my TikTok handle, which I don't really post on, but Instagram I definitely post on. So
Yeah, I don't post on TikTok neither. Like I have one. I think the last time I posted on TikTok was 2 years ago.
yeah, I try to be consistent, but I'm just like, I'm more of an Instagram poster.
No wrong with that.
Yeah,
Uh, well, Gwendolyn, I want to thank you for coming on.
thank you.
You're welcome. You've been an outstanding guest, and I tell everybody once you've been on NC-17, you have a home here with us, so you can come back on anytime, whether it be to promote anything, talk, or just to say, "Hey, man, you got a booger in your nose." You know.
Sounds good. I'll definitely keep you in mind.
All right, but again, thank you for coming on, and I hope you have a very good night. And just make sure that if you're going to go to sleep, don't say Bloody Mary 5 times because she just might appear.
No promises. I might actually want that. All
All
right.
right,
Have a great night yourself. Thank you so much.
all right, everybody, stay in C-17.